Thanks. G'day everybody. A few familiar faces here. I've got about 6 minutes, which is a bit devastating for me, so I like to talk. Yes, finding the Bunyip. Well, the Bunyip's real. Well, not the mythological Bunyip, but that creature up there. Can you hear me all right? The Australasian Bittern. And if you've been privileged enough to be in a wetland late at night, I always end up doing a bird call somewhere. If you hear this noise, sort of like that, that's a shorter version. That's a bittern, that's the Australasian Bittern. You can see why they scared the heck out of Indigenous kids in the old days, and the mythology of the Bunyip, the monster in the swamps, was there. It was to keep the kids out so they'd be safe. But this beautiful creature has declined over the years through wetland reclamation, drying, flooding, destruction, a whole bunch of different reasons. And the bird has declined. So through the AMLR, through Luke Price, Jason Van Wienen and Birds SA, we supported them with Bob Green down the southeast and myself around locally from Toldroll through to the Greenfields wetlands and some of the other local wetlands in the hills. We decided to do some surveys. Now the bittern is a very cryptic bird, rarely seen, so I was lucky enough to get those photos. They often, sometimes in the breeding season, will just wander out in the middle of the day if it's a sunny day, but generally they're a cryptic bird that stays in the reeds. You just hear that call about 30 minutes prior to sunset, and it's usually just the males that call. So they're nationally endangered. They belong to the heron family, and as I said, are declining pretty seriously. They do move large distances. Robbie, I don't know where the name Robbie came from, but Robbie, the bittern, has been seen down at Picanini Ponds and flies up to New South Wales to the rice fields and comes back down again. So rice is good for something for those birds. Sorry. Okay. So to obviously create better management for these birds and to manage the wetlands more sustainably for these birds, obviously surveys need to be done so that they can inform better management in the future and where population exists, because they're not easily seen. We need to know where they are. So the Department for Environment and Water now, I thought it was a spelling mistake when I just saw DEW. I didn't realise they actually had changed their name. Is coordinating various surveys during spring and summer. That's when the bitterns breed and when they call just prior to sunset. So we engaged both Birds SA members and other community volunteers, citizen science, to come out and learn how to survey for bitterns. This was the distribution of known bitterns over the last 40 years. From down the southeast and also around the Lake Alexandrina area and around the Adelaide area. And so we tried to redo some of those sites again. Some were negative, we didn't get anything at all. Not saying the birds weren't there, they just weren't calling on that particular time. Whereas some areas were highly prolific. Bull Lagoon, for example, had 10 birds calling, which is potentially more because it's the males that call, so there could be other females there as well. Toldroll, we had four birds calling, and some other places like at Greenfields out at Magazine Road, we couldn't hear anything because the traffic noise was so intense that you couldn't hear the call. And that's a problem for a lot of birds. They can't communicate to each other because of build-up of traffic around wetlands. How am I going for time? 1 minute left. Okay. So, yeah, read that. We'll move on. So, obviously, we put a flyer out there to attract volunteers. We've got plenty of volunteers. They did a great job. 31 volunteers participating. Bob and I, we trained them up and got them out there doing stuff, and it was terrific just getting them out there. This is ridiculous. We had their form, I'm topping myself now. We had our survey methods, which was basically 30 minutes prior to sunset. We needed to, if we heard a bird, we had to GPS it, triangulate with other people and work out how many birds were calling. And you can read that as well. We'll move on. So the results were the 29 wetland sites across AMLR, MDB, south-east regions. A total of 39 birds across 10 sites were found, which is not a huge number, but it's better than what we thought we'd find. And most males were heard calling in large wetlands of the southeastern Murray-Darling Basin. The Adelaide ones have got some big problems. And some individual birds were flushed. I flushed one at Greenfields. I couldn't hear it, but I got close to the reeds and it flushed, so that was great. And recorded at one new location down Port Macdonald. So the challenges is need to refinement of the methods. Fixed listening surveys appear to be an inefficient method. It's very difficult with traffic noises, particularly in built-up areas. Low detection rates, and how can we determine it to make it better into the future and more reliable detection of this incredible bird. I must have only seconds left. Yeah. So it's just working on it, improving it, and getting people out there and just trying to find out just how many of these birds are actually around, and look after them and try and create better management for our wetlands into the future. Thank you.